But
Yeah, that, unfortunately, that means I got to edit the fucking thing.
all we have to do is snip it right about. Where is
Electric football! Wah! It's electric football.
Week 15.
Thursday night is the Cardinals at the Rams, and the Rams have 2 shutouts in a row, which is not an easy thing to do. Now, granted, it was against Oakland and Washington.
Right.
Not exactly great teams. The Cardinals owning that division still. Seahawks scratching at their neck
right
with their
there,
talons.
baby.
And I don't think this is the spot the Cardinals want to be in. They're on the road.
Mm-hmm.
They're going against a tough defensive team. I'm spoiler alert, I'm taking the Rams.
Well, me too. The Rams are playing bad teams and killing them, but that's a good sign. They're playing bad teams and killing them, which means they're probably going to play a good team pretty well. So I like to see them beat a good team here, which I think they can do. The Cardinals beat the Rams in November, so I think the Rams return the favor here and beat the Cardinals, which is going to allow Seattle to scooch in.
Go fix me a chicken pot pie, because Steelers at the Falcons. And the Steelers came back and whomped on the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
So my whole theory of the quality loss and the non-quality win the week before, it seems to have played out. People need to recognize just the brilliance of electric football.
We really are. We're light years ahead of everyone else.
But in this case, the Big Benjamins, a lot of this game is going to come down to whether Julio Jones is capable of playing or
I
not.
don't think he is. It's Wednesday morning, but I don't think he is.
Yeah, so if the Big Benjamins dodged, Julio 259 yards, and the only thing that stopped me was an injury, Jones, I think they win this game. If Jones plays, I'll take the upset. I'll take the Falcons. So with Jones, give me the Falcons. Without Jones, Steelers.
Interesting. The Falcons had a nice comeback against Green Bay. Too bad they were already down by 30-some-odd points here. The Curtains have the better team here. Absolutely. Both sides are clicking. I'm taking the boys from Pittsburgh to win this game. It's a second road game, you know me, but I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers here to win in Atlanta.
All right. Redskins at Giants. And Daniel Snyder's love of RG3 is taking down the ship. There was a famous ship sinking during the gold rush, and evidently a lot of guys would not give up their gold. So the lifeboats were out, and these guys would grab like pounds of gold and sling them over their shoulders and jump to the lifeboat and go right through the bottom of it. And that's kind of what he's doing right here. There does come a point where your quarterback is fighting with your coaches. Coach number 1 is gone. You bring in coach number 2. Coach number 2 now looks like he's gone. And you're sticking with that quarterback. His own teammates are saying he's not preparing. He's not putting in the work. He's not being a professional. At what point do you cut ties? On the flip side, you want to talk about a professional, Tom Coughlin. Mm-hmm. And this looks like the end of the road for Tom Coughlin. He's given the Giants, 2 Super Bowls, plenty of winning seasons. I think the Giants win this game out of respect for Coughlin and because the Redskins just have no motivation and no leadership.
Yeah, I'm tired of the Coughlin naysayers. I think it's time for him to go, but not because he's a bad coach. I think what he's done here is his body of work. And with Eli Manning still having 5 or 6 years left, I think it's time for someone else to be able to come in for the Giants fans and try to win. Now, I don't know who else is going to come in here and do as a good a job. I'd take 2 Super Bowls in the last 10 years in a heart friggin' beat.
I'd take them in the last 2 decades.
But my never mind. Anyway, thank you for bringing us the battle to determine last place in the NFC East. Who cares? Giants.
Dolphins at Pats. You want to lead off on this?
The only thing stopping New England from a blowout here is if the plane from Miami never gets there. And that's what I'm hoping for. Brady, Gronk, that little friggin' elf Edelman, the linebacker Nincompoop, they're all going to avenge their opening day loss by putting up 50 on Miami. And here's a fun fact from my research staff, Dolphin316 down in Florida. The Dolphins-Jet game, this was the Dolphins' most rushing yards allowed in a win, while it was the Jets' second most rushing yards allowed in a loss, 277 yards. That's how bad that game was. So I don't see Miami doing anything against a front-running team. Take New England.
I now have to get the picture of Julian Edelman with a little elf hat and those little elf boots running across the field out of my mind. And I don't think he's really going to factor in because I think the Dolphins have shown a recent weakness against the run. And you're going to get Blunt You're going to get Gray, and then if they have to, they'll Gronk. Blunt, Gray, Gronk. Blunt, Gray, Gronk. And repeat.
Lions and Tigers and Bears.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, it's hard to consider the Patriots anything but the best team in the AFC.
Absolutely.
And I'm going with the Pats.
Can't argue that. Raiders and Chiefs.
All right.
This is suddenly a game I want to watch, by the way.
Okay.
The Raiders beat the Chiefs a few weeks ago, surprisingly, and then they put a beat down on the 49ers last week. I mean, is Tony Sparano the genius we let go in Miami? I don't think so. The Raiders do have a quarterback and the best head coach in football right now. I'm saying it. I'm taking the Chiefs, but the Raiders will probably stay within 10 points. Chiefs need this win to keep the AFC close. They got to keep pace here, and they need to win this game.
3 weeks ago, I told you the Raiders were going to go winless, and I told you the Chiefs were a Super Bowl contender. 3 weeks later, the Raiders have gone 2-1, and the Chiefs have gone 0-3, and pretty much played themselves right out of contention. Well, not out of playoff contention, but they've seriously hurt their playoff chances. Having said all that, I still like the Chiefs in this game. More talented team, more motivation at home. Don't see how they lose this one.
I agree. Texans, Colts.
All right, you, me.
Oh, I'll go. Colts bring the number one offense into the game. Still shocks me that they're the number one offense in the game because they don't have a running game. And the Texans bring Mr. Electricity, man. I honestly think that the Texans can win here if Fitzgerald can minimize his mistakes and Foster can maintain his 5 yards per carry that he's averaging this year. If they don't do that, then take the Colts. But I'm picking an upset here. I'm taking Houston.
I'm trying to figure out from you, and this is a question directly to you. With another comeback win, gutsy comeback win, late touchdown pass, are you finally accepting that Andrew Luck is the real deal?
Who'd they play?
They played the Browns.
Yeah.
Okay. That's your point. But, I mean, how many times can he do it? He got physically beaten by the Browns. They were down in that game, and they come back. It's another fourth quarter comeback win for the Colts. I don't see how you can't now put the RG3 Luck draft along with the Leaf Manning draft. One team made the right choice. One team made the wrong choice.
Yeah, but one guy is the greatest quarterback, arguably, in history.
You
the
think
other
Luck is the greatest quarterback?
No,
I'm playing.
No, he hasn't done anything yet to me in the playoffs to consider him in the Brady Manning conversation, the Aaron Rodgers conversation. Yeah, he beats up on, look at the division he's in. When he wins something against real big teams, then you'll have, I think he's a great quarterback. He's not an exceptional quarterback.
He's heading in that direction.
Oh, he's heading in that
continues to head in that direction. And they are not the most talented team around him. He lifts that team up. If you put an average quarterback, a Ryan Fitzgerald, on the Colts, forget about it.
Yeah, but you have 32 teams, and there's 10 good quarterbacks in the league. Really. I mean, there's 10 good quarterbacks in the league.
Okay. Anyway, back to the game. I like the Colts in this one. I do think that J.J. Watt should be in the running for MVP. I think he'll get a couple of sacks.
Both sides.
Because the Browns, yes. Because the Browns were able to beat up on the Colts. I think it's going to be a shootout game, and in a shootout game, I like Andrew Luck to win it. Now I'm going to do a quick little Steve rant. Every once in a while, we go off on these things. Talking about J.J. Watt, if you've ever listened to interviews with this guy, he doesn't go out at night. He studies film. He works to do nothing but be a great, defensive lineman. You know who's not working to be a great defensive lineman right now?
Jadeveon Clowney?
Jadeveon Clowney. Talk about missing in action. What would the Texans be if their first-round draft pick had chipped in, 6 or 7 sacks and some tackles,
Or if they'd gone in a completely other direction because he's been a useless piece of garbage.
That does become the question right now. Yeah. Could they have added another piece somewhere? He's been out, and he hasn't shown. He seems to be continuing to get injured while he's trying to recover from injury. And this is a guy that didn't want to play his last year of college ball either because he didn't want to get hurt because he was going to play in the pros. So play in the pros. Where are you? Anyway.
Back to our regular schedule program.
No, seriously. There are guys out there. Remember Jerry Rice? Did he have better skills, physical skills, than a lot of wide receivers out there? No, it was determination. It was the will to win.
Practice.
Watt is showing that. Mm-hmm. Walter Payton was that way. Mm-hmm. Some guys, Ronnie Lott, you couldn't get that guy. He cut a finger off to play football.
Right.
You couldn't get those guys off the field. Jack Hacksaw Reynolds playing on a broken leg. What has Jadeveon Clowney got even at this point?
A bruise.
Is it a bruise? Is it
No
a...
idea.
His winky hurts?
I've totally forgot about him because he's not been a factor in 15 weeks. So.
It's pretty amazing. So that was my quick rant.
All right.
Bengals who did I pick? I picked the Colts.
Okay. All right.
Bengals at Browns. And Johnny Football comes in now.
Yeah, that's
a week late because Brian Hoyer has not only played himself out of the starting spot, he's probably played himself out of being re-signed by the Browns. He's probably played himself out of being considered a starter for anybody. And you move back 5 or 6 weeks ago, and that wasn't the case. But then you have the Bengals. They have control of the division because of a lucky tie. Mm-hmm. And they're going to lose control of the division because the Browns are going to beat up on them. They actually should have beaten the Colts. They're going to get a spark from Manziel. He's going to make some plays with his legs. And I don't see Dalton coming through in a tight spot. Dalton is the anti-luck. The more pressure you put on him, the worse he does.
That's true. Although I wrote my notes before I understood that Manziel was starting, it's changing my pick here. This game can make a mess of the AFC North. All teams are within one game of each other, and the Browns are one game back of all three other teams, Tigers, Steelers, Ravens. Bengals should win, and I was going to take Hoyer to muddle the division here. I don't like John Manziel. I'm not going to call him Johnny Football. He hasn't done anything other than this and a commercial.
And beat Alabama.
Anyway, he hasn't done anything in the NFL to warrant all the attention he's gotten this year. He is going to be another guy you're not going to talk about. He's going to be Tim Tebow Part 2 by the middle of next year. I'm now taking the Bengals.
All right. Jags at the Ravens. And talk about a guy that's not going to play. Halati not going to play.
Yeah. Didn't seem to hurt the Ravens last week.
No, it didn't hurt them. It hurts them, but it doesn't hurt them enough against teams that are not that good, like, I don't know.
Miami?
Florida team, basically. The Jags right now are next up. The Ravens are just a mentally tougher bunch. They've got the better coach, and they'll be able to control the football. To me, they're going to seize. We're just talking about the division. Right now, I think the Ravens seize the division. If this week plays out like I think it might, Steelers could very well lose. Mm-hmm. Browns could very well win, and Bengals lose. And the Ravens step up. And right now, if you said to me, who's winning this division, I'd take the Ravens.
I'd love to see a Jacksonville win here just because I'm not a Ravens fan. Just never liked them. But the Ravens are a solid team on both sides of the ball. They hit hard. They can run. They can pass. Jags might stay close for a quarter, but I think it's pretty much a runaway by, 2:15 p.m. on Sunday. Take the Ravens. Take the Ravens big.
Packers at the Bills. And if you've been watching, you know that I kind of like what the Bills are doing. I think they're a team on the upswing. I love their defensive line. There's a problem, though. They're facing Aaron Rodgers and his 35 touchdowns and his 3 interceptions. He's having a Nick Foles-like year.
Have you seen a guy throw a ball better than this guy?
No,
in a season.
We talked about that and his accuracy. I mean, they're talking about your guy Marino. They're putting him up there for like best passer of all time, and he's in the conversation with guys like Marino. As far as accuracy goes, I've never seen better. We talked about that. So with motivation from the Lions. The Lions have a win over the Packers, and the Lions are right behind them. The Packers can't take their foot off the gas. The Bills have improved and are an improving team and on the upswing, but they have not reached the elite level that I think the Packers currently are playing at. So give me the Packers.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one either way. The Packers are 6-point favorites, and they could be the Super Bowl favorite from the NFC if they can secure home field advantage. I think that's very important for the Packers to win anything in the playoffs, is they must have home field advantage and not have to go to Seattle here. Rodgers looks so comfortable. I mean, he's behind center and he's kind of just chuckling with the guys. Like, we're going to run a play. It's going to be worth 20 yards and we're going to score. It's so easy for him right now. He is in the most amazing zone. I don't see it as a blowout because I think Buffalo's defense is good enough. I don't think they have the offense to keep pace with Aaron Rodgers. I'm taking the Packers.
I think he's calling his shots. Like, this one's going to Nelson.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit him right over there.
I think he's telling the defense.
Try and stop me.
Yeah.
Bucks at Panthers, and Cam Newton was evidently in a car accident and has an injured back, which
changes my pick.
Yeah, which has thrown this whole thing into chaos because we don't know how bad it is. They're saying it's basically the equivalent of what Tony Romo had. I would expect him to miss at least one game, especially if you've ever been in a bad car accident. It's not always right away that you know what hurts. The next day you might wake up and go, oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Can't move that. But they are playing a dismal Bucks team with nothing except for Mike Evans' Rookie of the Year type performance to give them any hope. And Derek Anderson is not a bad backup. My original pick was the Panthers based on what Newton did last week against the Saints. I'm sticking with my Newtonian law of the Panthers that start in getting in the end zone continue to get in the end zone.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, the Panthers mopped up in Katrina land the other night, and I was so high on Carolina going into this game until the car accident. So that did change my pick. I think they'll probably win because I think Tampa's that bad, but I don't think it's going to be by 6 now. I thought they'd win by a touchdown. This might go to a field goal. Take the Panthers, though.
All right, Jets at Titans. And I got a good look at the Jets last week as they played my Vikes in a bad but fun game to watch. And other than his first pass and their red zone performance, the Jets actually played pretty good. And you know how there are certain moments where you become a fan of a guy, even a guy on another team that you don't like? Sheldon Richardson, he did not give up on that last play. And you got a defensive lineman trying to run down a wide receiver to save his. I admired that play an awful lot. Earlier in the season, I talked about Gronk's play, and admiring what he did. I admired what Sheldon Richardson did on that, and I thought the Jets actually outplayed the Vikings. The Titans have shown nothing. I think they get. Didn't they just lose to the Giants last week? So I think New York just continues the dominance over Tennessee. Give me the Jets.
Yeah, it's the battle of the 211s, and I'm sure that'll be on the New York City television. Good God. Sexy Rexy and the Plains visit Nashville and become the story of a new Blake Shelton Christmas song here. All I want for Christmas is a new head coach, a new head coach, a new head coach. Sadly, it's the same thing is true for Tennessee, but I believe the Jets win one. Why? Because they suck less than Tennessee.
All right. Broncos at Chargers, and it's a tough 2 weeks for the Chargers and Phillip Rivers because he had to go against Brady. Now they have to go against Manning. There was nothing in that game from their defense, from their offensive line, or from the running game that tells me that they're going to be able to control the Broncos' weapons or that they're going to be able to keep the Broncos' weapons off the field. I like the Broncos in this one.
They generally split the season's series, and since Manning already won, I'm just going to take the Bolts based on that. No other reason. Denver is clearly superior, and yet the Chargers always find a way to, put a chink in Denver's season there. And also a win keeps them one game out of the division title. I think that's a lot of motivation. And let's see, if Phillip Rivers can't bounce back in this game, then I think San Diego should consider looking at someone else because he's had a great season up to a point and has really been disappointing the rest of the way since like week 8. If he can't put it together this week against Denver to get within one game of the division title, I think it's time for a change.
You're calling for Phillip Rivers to be benched?
Not benched. I think the Chargers should look at something. Well, there's no one coming out next year. Nobody with a quarterback problem is gonna do well next year because Mariota, sorry, Jameis Winston, sorry, they're not NFL quality quarterbacks. You're stuck with kind of who you have this year for next year. So
yeah, I thought you were calling for
not a benching, but if I was San Diego, I would look to get a new quarterback. Yes.
Long-term,
not
develop I got you.
It's time for a new guy.
Vikes at Lions, and the Vikings did all they could to give that game away to the Jets. Missed field goal, clear interception drop by Everson Griffin, blocked by Robinson, just drops in his arms, misses it. And a punt laying on the ground that our guy runs by and tries to pick up with his feet, evidently. I thought you were supposed to fall on the ball here. He tried to grab it with his ankles. Not a great play. So you can get away with that against a team like the Jets. Am I wrong? Did you see that?
I did.
But you can't get away with that against a team like the Lions. At home with a healthy Megatron. Playoff motivation right behind the Packers. Give me the Lions easy in this one.
I got to figure the Lions are better and they're home. They should win this game. I have no other notes other than that. They're the better team. They should win this game.
Oh, and Norv Turner seems to have whacked Cordero Patterson because other than a punt return that he then went and it's amazing when a guy loses confidence. Or a kickoff return that he then fumbled. He's just gone from our offense, and this was supposed to be like his breakout year. So I am not a Norv Turner fan. I don't think he did anything in the play calling that won us that game. Just a little Viking rant.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing better than I guess some people expected us to do this season. But my God, I don't like Norv. I mean, you've had Norv Turner experience.
I haven't had a good head coach since Don Shula.
All right.
Sorry.
49ers at the Seahawks, and the Seahawks have turned their season around and are now the class of the NFC. San Francisco seems to bicker away any chance they have on this. It's now become, you know, the Harbaugh. It's the housewives of San Francisco. I don't like you. I don't like you. Well, I'm not going to play for you. And it's starting to become like, where are we going to trade the coach to? Which is a very weird thing for a team that was, I don't know, a play or two away from Super Bowl victories 2 years ago, and a player away from going to the Super Bowl, heading in the wrong direction, and they're definitely heading in the wrong direction for this game because they're going to Seattle. You see any chance the 49ers have? I don't.
You would think they'd be really fired up now, especially after the embarrassing loss to Oakland here. They should be absolutely on fire coming out of the gate here. But the Hawks are playing in hopes of tying the Cards in this game. If the Cardinals lose and the Seahawks win, Seahawks, here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
End of season. So they will be fired up. They're home. The line is 9. I don't even think it's going to be that close. I think Seattle is just going to do this to Harbaugh. I don't know what that was.
I don't know, but it's weird because
just squishing.
You got sort of mellow hippie coach in Pete Carroll, and he's just curb stomping Harbaugh lately.
Yeah.
You know,
he's got a better team. Different
approaches, and seems to be working. Cowboys at Eagles rematch.
Game of the week.
I call rematch, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys showed up and started to play the game on Thursday night because that appears to be their regular time slot.
It's the night now.
You know. But they do have to play this one on Sunday.
Thursdays is Cowboy night on the NFL Network.
Yeah. What was a good Thursday night show? It's like Cheers followed by the Cowboys. And last week I picked against the Cowboys, and I knew the Cowboys were going to win. I just hate them, so I pick against them, and I'm going to pick them against them again this time. I'm going to make up reasons why the Eagles are going to beat them. I thought the Eagles. It seemed like the Eagles were getting pounded, but if you look at it, Lynch didn't really kill them.
Right.
What killed them was one Russell Wilson play. I don't think that Tony Romo is going to be able to do a read option for 50-yard touchdown. I hate the Cowboys. Give me the Eagles. I hate them less. And Sanchez has not played that badly.
Well, the loss to Seattle gives this game a significant tilt for these two teams. The Eagles are slight favorites here. They're playing, and yet Sanchez is the quarterback. Philly's in contention, and Mark Sanchez is the quarterback. Romo could have his hands full against this team, and the running game is pretty even here. I'm taking Dallas with the quote-unquote better quarterback, but I wouldn't be surprised if Philly wins here. But I am taking the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, Philly, in trying to come up with reasons why Philly can win, one thing Philly really can do is rush the quarterback this year. Their defense has gotten much better as far as the pass rush goes. And who knows if Romo's going to hold up.
Yep, we'll find out. We'll find out if it's the regular Tony Romo or the new improved Thursday night Tony Romo show.
All right, Monday night, Saints at Bears, and great Cosell toupee. What happened to Monday night? Oh my God, this brand has fallen on hard times.
Oh my God!
It's like one of those stores that you used to see all the time, like Caldors.
Two guys.
There used to be Sears.
You have to be from
guys.
around here.
Sears and Two Guys. I used to work at a Caldor. They're not around anymore, but they were
Rockaway sales.
They were all over the place at one point. You talk about a brand, like, would you buy Monday Night Football stock right now? No, it's cratering. I mean, this is just a horrible game. Two teams that didn't show up in their last two games. I like the Bears in this one. based on them being at home and based on the absolute mess that the Saints defense has turned into. I do think the Bears continue to have great weapons that they have not fully utilized, but I like them to beat a reeling Saints team.
Well,
here.
Marshall's done, though. I mean, so that changes things slightly. You can go Christmas shopping Monday night because this is a battle of 5 and 8 teams to see whose coach will not return next year. 2 underachievers with pretty solid talent. Is Breeze at the end here? I'm starting to think he's
at the
declining.
at the end of being elite.
Yeah, okay.
He's still a more than acceptable QB.
All right, and shall I kick Graham's ass for finally landing on my fantasy team and doing absolutely nothing, you redheaded freak?
I'm going to guess that redheaded freak can tear your head off without even waking up.
Well, I wouldn't go near him after saying that.
I think you can roll over and just flick.
Anyway, the Saints ruined my knockout pool chances, so go Bears.
Yeah, go Bears.
Oh,
That's electric football.
want to say another shout out to Dolphins, New York City, man. You guys really pumped up our numbers. I believe it was you guys, so thank you very much. Keep watching. You know, I will always bleed the aqua and coral, baby. And also check out the FinNation.com. If you're a Dolphin New York City member on Facebook, go check out FinNation.com. A lot of good chat going on there about our team. Well, it's not good chat. We're chatting about a bad team, but come over anyway.
A lot of good Dolphin talk.
That's right, Dolphin talk.
Anyway, that's electric football. That's Stu Pace.
That's Steve Brown.
We love you.
See ya.
Here comes the hand.
Here comes the hand. Oh.